1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and then you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. And I know that's...
Good evening, all. If you can hear me clearly, good evening. You're welcome to today's currency review with Great White FX for the 19th of November 2019. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please can you type in yes into the chat box? If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please can you type in yes into the chat box so that we can get down to business for today. Okay, so tomorrow being the 19th, tomorrow is the 19th of November 2019. Let's see what we have lined up for tomorrow. So at 1:30 a.m. West African time, the Aussie, that's will be releasing their monetary policy minutes by 1:30 a.m. It's going to be high impact news, so you need to be careful about that. Then we have medium impact card news by 2:30, USD building permits by 2:30. Then by 3 p.m. FOMC member Williams is speaking. Then 7 p.m. Governor Council member speaks. Well, tomorrow, not so heavy, but like I always say, anything can happen. All you just need is one comment and it can throw everything overboard. So that out of the way, let's get down to business for tomorrow. So looking at as always, we always start with the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, I'm using 3 chart system. I'm using 3 top-down system instantly. So if you look at the dollar index, the chart to my extreme right is the daily. This is the 4-hour, and let me set this well. This should be the weekly, and this should be the daily. So if we look at this chart, we can see clearly that the dollar index 3 days down, as you can see, it broke above this resistance level. But when it came back for a retest, instead of finding support there, it broke back down through it. And if we're looking at this chart also from the weekly, as we're looking at it from the weekly, we could say, I'm still looking at this area. But that being said, if we look at the dollar index from an intraday point of view, you could see it's taking downward shape. So the best thing on this dollar index will be to see what happens when it comes in here. Then you take a short position. As this area, let me set it up clearly. Because the dollar index is still in a downtrend. For now, it's correcting. There's still dollar weakness. And if you understand, you would know that when you have dollar weakness, most often than not, you have EURUSD strength. So this is the area where you'll be waiting for the dollar index to come into. And that area is 97.91 to 97.95. That's where you'll be waiting for the dollar index to come into. If it gives you a bearish evidence that if this place acts as resistance, then you might see the dollar index continue downwards. But should this area price break above 97.95, then you'll be looking at a scenario like this. Then you might see dollar strength towards the next level of resistance. Because in a downtrend, you look to sell rallies. So if this pair rallies into this zone, and finds resistance there, then you can expect dollar weakness, and that would mean you look for a long position on the Euro USD. So the next pair we're going to look at is gold. Gold is it's a little bit slightly, there's something I will explain on gold. There's something I need to explain on gold. If you look at gold, let me use the daily. If you look at gold from the daily, notice this level here. If we put something there, if you notice, price broke below it, then closed back above it. Logically, what this means is that they went for liquidity below this level. Everybody that had the pending order and a stop loss, it had been activated. Then they now closed back above it. Notice level, that is 1459.10. Now let's go to the 4-hour for today. That level is 1459.10. Let me set this up. 1459.10. No, 1459. Yeah. Do you see what happened today? Price came back down to that level. Price came back down to that level, and from that level, it bounced up. If you look at this chart now on the 4-hour, you will notice you have a low here, you have a high here, you have a higher low, and this high is not yet higher. So already you have a situation for a rising channel here. You have a situation for rising channel here. So now let's go down to what I mean, what that interprets on gold. What it means basically on gold is, as long as gold does not go below this zone here, it has a tendency to still move higher. So basically what you'll be looking on gold is a pullback, and if you see bullish price action, take a long position. That's just basically what gold is looking like, because if you look at it, it has tested this area and you can see the move. Then you have this low, you have a higher low, you have this high here. So most basically, they might try to run up. So for gold, you'll be looking for bullish evidence to take a long position. And then the areas where you'll be looking for it are from this 1469.20 and this lower area down here. These are areas where you'll be looking to take long positions on gold. Now, should this pull back, or better still, you take your fib tool like this. Take your fib tool and wait for the pullback. The pullback to either 38. You see, you can see the 50% lines up with this area. So from 38.2 to the 61.8, you wait for a pullback to that zone. If they give you the right kind of bullish evidence, you take a long position. So the next way we're going to look at is the USDCHF. So looking at the USDCHF, let's look at this USDCHF. Look at the USDCHF. The USDCHF is just basically ranging. As you can see, this is what the daily is looking like. As you can see from the daily, you have a situation like this, something like this, and then you have something like this. So this is what you have on the USDCHF. So you can see it's coming down into this area, but it found support here, and that's what we have here. So for this pair, it just basically play the range. And see, it has found support here, it's moving away. So if price gets to this 0.9911, and it holds as resistance, then you can take a short position. But if price gets to this level, as the price gets to this level and breaks above, then you may see something like that. But noteworthy is this trend line here. As this trend line here. This trend line, that is what you have at this level here. So that's what you just need to be aware of. The Euro USDCHF is just ranging for now. As you can see, this is it on the daily, and you can see it clearly on the weekly. It is just most likely a sideways movement. Just most likely a sideways movement. So the next pair we're going to look at is the EURUSD. So looking at the EURUSD, the deal with the EURUSD is it has a bullish kind of situation for now. But the concern is this neckline here. And see, this is an M formation. If I switch this to my line chart, you can see it. So price is testing this apex here that it previously broke. So now, and given this formation, what you just need to do is, on your intraday chart, you wait and see. This is a major resistance zone. Price broke deep into it. So if price goes this level here, 1.1067, if this level holds as support, there's a possibility price may go higher. But should this level fail as support, then price may be coming down here or this resistance level. But you would only know the EURUSD is bearish if you see something like this. That's a break below 1.1055. As you can see, it held as support throughout today. This level held as support throughout today, and this area held as resistance before price broke above it. So there is a tendency that price might most likely come down towards it and move higher in that direction. So that's just what you need to be aware of on the EURUSD. You'll just be looking for bullish opportunities on this pair. So the next pair we're going to look at is the EURGBP. EURGBP it's looking a bit, it's just looking somehow. If you ask me on this pair, I have a feeling they are gunning for this area. So even though we have this formation here, and there's a trend line here. There's a trend line running here. See if I can find where I do that trend line from. So here. Yes. As you can see, that trend line was what created this formation here. So this looks like a reversal formation. But the storyline here is this. Price needs to go back above this level. Why this level? Because if I zoom in a bit, let me zoom in a bit, make this bigger. You see this single candle here that looks like a doji. It held price for a period of time. And you see the range, this single candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It broke below, then kept retesting, then moving lower. So, and if you notice, this is a daily chart. If price does not close back above 87, 85, 75, there is a tendency that price may drop below this level. There's a tendency. So most likely you might see a pullback on this pair. So how do you trade that on your intraday chart? The best way on your intraday chart is, the best way on your intraday chart is, there's a trend line here. I think there's a 1 hour trend line here. Let's see if I can find it. Just wait to see what happens at this trend line. If price fails at this trend line, and as you can see, there's some activity here. You see, so if price runs into this area and gets rejected, it's going to continue down. But should price break above, then you're looking at something like this. But I have the feeling that they may try to drop lower towards this low because they've made a low here and people are already buying. So most likely they will come down, sweep this low, then move higher. That's just what we might most likely see. So don't be in a haste to buy this pair. Don't be in a haste. It's not yet fully out of the woods yet. It might still drop lower. So for this pair, just wait for it at 85.53 area here. As this area here. If this area acts as resistance, then it might start dropping more. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the GBP British pound. The British pound is just clearly bullish. Clearly bullish. But there is a little caveat here. If I take this to daily, excuse me, there's this trend line here. See where price is at the moment. Then, if you look at it clearly, there's also a channel here. There's a channel here. Let me draw the channel from this point to this point. Excuse me. Set the channel properly. So as you can see, that's the channel. So now the deal is, if price stays below this channel, it may continue lower. This pair is bullish. That's just what you need to be aware of. It's slightly bullish. So the best thing on this pair is this. It could give you an opportunity to go long. So you'll be looking for opportunities to go long. As you can see, 1.2942 has already been tested and held. So if price comes down to this level and this level holds as support, then you can engage a long position towards this area. As you can see. As you can see on this. Is it a W? It looks like a sideways W. It looks like a W. I know this is a daily formation. So the question is, will it break? And most likely I have the feeling it needs to break. But there's a caveat here. If it doesn't break this channel, it most likely is going to drop hard. So that's what we need to be aware of. If you ask me, I would say this pair needs to sweep stops at this area. They've taken the first range here. They've taken the first stops here, liquidity, but they still need to pick this area. So you might see in the coming days a sharp move up and a drop down. So that's just it. But this pair is still bullish, still very, very bullish. So you'll be looking for bullish opportunities from either here or any of these zones. Doesn't mean you can't sell, but if you're selling, know you're counter trending and your trade is not supposed to last for a long time. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBPCHF. We're looking at this pair. This pair is still looking bullish. Like all GBP pairs, they are looking very, very bullish because the EURGBP is still very weak. So that is the EURGBP is weak, so that is giving the pound strength across board. So if you look at this pair has been in a range. And as you can see, it came down towards this level, held as support, and is moving back. So now the storyline on this pair is this. Most of the liquidity here has been cleared. And if you look at this pair, let me zoom this out. If you look at this pair, it's sitting on a sort of support here. If you switch to your line chart, it becomes very, very clear. The support is coming in somewhere here. The support is coming in somewhere here. Switch back to your candle. So you see this where it's sitting above. So how do you play this on your intraday? As long as this level holds, and if you notice again, there's a trend line that it broke. Can you see it? It broke this trend line. From this high to this point, it broke. So most likely what price is doing now is a retest to move higher. So this pair is still very, very bullish. So what you'll be looking for is bullish evidence to take a long trade. towards this area. And that's what you most likely will be looking for on this pair. So the next pair we're going to look at is the USDJPY. So looking at the USDJPY, the USDJPY rallied, then dropped again. So let's see what we have on the USDJPY. Well, looking at it from the daily point of view, I would say it ran into resistance structure here. And that's what we have at this area, as you can see. A falling channel and resistance structure. So price ran in there and dropped. So now what you'll be waiting for is to sell into the rally. On this pair, you'll be looking to sell into the rally. As you can see, I've already used the fib. So you pick the high of the day, that's the high of today, to the low of today, and use the fib. Then you then be waiting for a rejection from either this major resistance zone or any of the fib levels. And if you observe, the 61.8 and the 50% are inside this major resistance. So there's a possibility price may still head higher deep into this area before continuing down. So that's it for this pair. This pair is most in a downtrend. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the Euro Yen. So let's look at the Euro Yen on our tree view system. So looking at the Euro Yen, this pair, as you can see, is in an upward kind of channel. As you can see, it's slightly slanting down, which means its target might be this area here. As you can see, price rallied off this zone, which is this area here. This area here is already rallied up there. Then ran into this resistance structure. You can see the bearish engulfing candle on the 4-hour time. So on this pair, I'll just say wait for a pullback into this zone. As this zone is between 120.44 and 120.64. You can see price has already traded stops here before dropping. So if it runs in here and gives you a bearish evidence, you can take a short position. That is as long as price stays below 120.44. So 120.44 is the level you need to watch. But for this pair, it still seems to be in a downtrend. Because if you look at what happened here, let me switch this. If you switch to your line chart, you see what happened here. This looks like a double bottom here. Excuse me. This is a double bottom formation, as you can see, break, and possibly what you might be looking at is a break and retest here. So this is a break retest. So if you get a bearish evidence upon this retest here, then you might take the trade lower to any of these levels down here. The next way we're going to look at is the British pound yen. So looking at the pound yen, the pound yen cracked a range. Let me show you the range. You see this single candle here? Now, this is a stop here, which we will shade red. Then this is his bottom here, which we are going to shade blue. So if you look at this candle, remember this is a daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's roughly a month. 21 trading days, price was within the range of this candle. And you see what price did. Price immediately pricked, ran into this area because logically this is the extreme of this range, and it dropped. Ran into that area and it dropped. So now the question on this pair is, how are you going to trade this pair intraday? It's still looking bullish. So if you ask me, if he gives you bullish evidence from this area, wait for it at this zone. Doesn't mean you can't buy. You can buy it if it gives you the right kind of bullish evidence here into this zone. If this area holds as resistance, then you might take a short position. But this pair still has a little bit bullish trend. But because of the rejection from this top range, you might see a bit of weakness on this pair. So you might just wait. If it gives you a little correction into this range, then it might start to drop. So the next pair we're going to look at is the AUDUSD. So looking at the AUDUSD, Friday's candle closed what you would call this is a bullish piercing pattern. There's a bullish piercing pattern, Friday's candle, and it ran into from this swing low to this swing high. This is 61.8. Price ran into there, found a little bit of support and bounced, giving this bullish piercing pattern. So now the question on this page, remember it has news coming up at by 1:30. The 1:30 a.m. Yes, 1:30 a.m. and that's monetary policy minute. So that might really determine what might happen on this page. So what do we do with this? You just wait and see. So basically, it's still having a bit of issue here. This prior low area is giving a problem. So we could change this color to a little bit of red because this is a bit of a resistance area. That's where it's having a little bit of problem. So as long as price stays above this trend line, there's a tendency it's going to move higher. But if it breaks this trend line, so if it breaks this trend line like this, then it's going to go down lower to either this level or this level, as either here or this area down here. So the next pair we're going to look at is EURAUD. The EURAUD, if we look at the EURAUD, there's a big trend line. Let me draw this trend line properly. It seems to have shifted. Let me draw it properly. So this is a trend line. See where it's running from, connecting here, and that's where price ran into. There are two trend lines here. You have this one that was broken here, so price might be doing a retest of two trend lines. As you can see, they are both intersecting at the same area inside this resistance structure. So now the deal on this pair is this. You need a good close because this level here has been holding at a sort of support. See price drop, then bounce back in there. First, you need a close below 1.6239. Then you need this level here to be broken. And do this here. So you're looking at a sort of from this point to this point here. So you might get a little bit of so if price drops in here, you might find support here. Because if you look at it, the zones are almost close together. So this pair might just be a little bit, might just require a little bit of caution taking it. So let's look at it from the daily point of view. Let's look at it from a straight candle view. Well, if we look at it on the weekly closed as a bullish engulfing. So, but it's at this resistance structure here. So the question is, will it break above this zone here? That's what you have here. This zone here is what you have shaded here. So if it doesn't break above 1.6308, it might still go lower. So that's it for that pair. The next pair we're going to look at is the USDCAD. So looking at the USDCAD, well, the USDCAD closed last week with a long rejection candle. And as you can see, Friday dropped lower. But this pair seems to be, there's this weak high. You know, these are daily highs. Daily highs sometimes are very, very bright now. So you can see where price is at the moment now. If you switch to your candles, your line chart, you'll find why I use this level here. Why did I use this level? Because there's a swing low here. There's a swing low here before this decline. There's a swing low here. I call it J hook or elbow. That's what I normally call it. You can see price respected it. So the best thing on this pair is to wait for a rally. He's already showing you he's bearish. You need to just look for a rally and sell into the rally. That's just what you need to do. But you need to be well aware. So trend line. Okay, the trend line has been broken. Trend line has been broken. So if it pulls back and gives you bearish evidence, you can take a shot. Or better still, you wait for something like this. You take a shot. That's it for that pair. The next pair we're going to look at, the last pair, is NASDAQ. Some of my students trade NASDAQ. So like I said yesterday, this pair is still slightly bullish. You can see this high, served as support here, price dropped and used it as a springboard. So the next thing to watch on this pair is to see what happens at this high. If this high holds as resistance upon retest, then you may see weakness. But if price breaks above it, you see something like this, and you may see further strength. For this pair is still bullish. The NASDAQ 100 is still bullish. So that is it for today. I thank you all for taking your time to attend. And I wish you all a blessed night's sleep and a beautiful trading day ahead. Thank you all for coming.